Hello everyone, and welcome to Hill Street, and Happy New Year's Eve! I hope everybody has a great time tonight welcoming the new year. I just want to thank all the residents for this previous year that we just had. It's been amazing. It's been an amazing start to Hill Street, and I appreciate every resident so much, and I can't wait to see what 2022 brings for us and our street. Today's story is The Rite. If you end up enjoying this story, please leave a like, and if this is your first time listening, please subscribe and become a resident of Hill Street and let me know how I'm doing in the comments. Now, let's get to this nightmare. I wake up about an hour after midnight, just like I have done many nights before. It's late August in 1974, and I'm 11 years old. The room is warm, and the air feels thick from the summer heat that is still holding on. But it's not the heat that has woken me up. A voice is coming from the basement. It is faint and muffled, but loud enough to keep me awake. I could hear voices as I went to bed as well, but they sounded like pleasant conversations between my mother and her friends from church. Now, however, the voice is different. It's a male voice. At this hour, it's always a male's voice. I try to go back to sleep, but that low and muffled voice is grabbing my attention, and I can't help but try to hear what it's saying. I'm tossing and turning in bed, while the voice keeps mumbling downstairs. The heat in my room is unbearable, and I kick my blanket off into a sweaty pile on the floor. When I reach for the glass of water on my bedside table, I found it empty, and I roll back to bed in frustration. I lay there for a moment, just staring at the ceiling and contemplating if my mouth is dry enough to get up and refill my glass. I decide that it is, and I sit up on the side of my bed. That's when I notice something. The door to my room is wide open. I could have sworn it was closed just a minute ago. Somewhat confused, I wander out in the hallway outside my room and continue towards the kitchen. The air feels cooler outside of my room, and my head gets a bit clearer. Maybe the door was wide open all along. The house is dark and quiet. A few streetlights are squeezing some light in through the windows along the street. The only sound I hear is the voice from downstairs. As I walk past the stairs leading to the basement, I notice the voice getting clearer. I have never been outside my room before when the voices can be heard. I think I hear the words, "follow" and "let go." I flick the lights on under the kitchen fan and grab a glass from one of the cabinets. I fill it with cool water and bring it to my mouth for a big gulp, only to spray it right back out. The water is suddenly scalding hot. I stare at the faucet. I turn the blue knob. I know I did. I try turning it again, but nothing happens. I turn both knobs back and forth, but still nothing. Then suddenly, with a loud hissing noise, steam and boiling hot water start shooting out of the faucet. I throw myself on the floor and watch as the steam is rising up, covering the green kitchen cabinets. I get up and frantically start turning the knobs to make it stop, the hot steam burning my arms. Once it stops, I'm soaked and my heart is racing. I run away from the kitchen towards my room, only to find the door closed. I did not close the door. Just as I'm about to grab the handle and open, I get an overwhelming feeling that I shouldn't. It feels like someone is present right next to the door on the other side. The eerie feeling makes me back away from the door and walk into the living room, where I lay down on the sofa. The velour fabric feels awful against my wet body, but I don't want to move. I just lay there and listen to the muffled voice from downstairs, until exhaustion puts me to sleep. The next morning, I sit down with toast and orange juice at the kitchen table. Mom asked me why I was sleeping on the sofa. I lie and tell her it's because my room was too warm. She tells me I look tired, but so does she. In fact, she looks exhausted, pale and worn, but I don't mention that. There's no sign of the water incident from last night. Maybe she cleaned it up. When I'm finished with breakfast, she leads me out on the porch where she urges me to ride my bike straight home after school. No detours to the lake or visiting friends. I do just as Mom has told me. When the bell rings out in the afternoon, I ride straight home. I feel the eyes of my friends in my back as I take off in the opposite direction without a word. While pedaling up the long hill leading to our house, I notice several cars parked outside our yard. The cigarette smoke lies thick when I enter the house. Mom doesn't smoke, but her guests do. Ladies from around the neighborhood, acquaintances from church are all sitting around the kitchen table and smiling as I walk in. Except for the Reverend. He is sitting at the far end of the table, observing me with a flat expression. After some brief conversation, where I try to be polite, Mom is sending me off to my room. After about an hour, I hear the party move downstairs. Mom prepares a frozen pizza that I eat alone in the kitchen, the cigarette smoke still hanging in the air. After dinner, I watch some TV. The conversations from downstairs is mixing with the sound from the TV. Before I know it, I'm asleep on the sofa. When I wake up, it's dark outside. The broadcast on the TV seems to have ended, and the static test image is blaring on the screen. I turn the TV off, and the house gets completely silent. I'm almost asleep as I wander off to my room, where I collapse on the bed. After just an hour, I wake up again. My room feels hot and humid. It's hard to go back to sleep even though I'm tired. I lay flat on my back and close my eyes when I suddenly hear that familiar male voice again. I realize now that it's the Reverend. It always was. I just never saw him here. What are they doing? Why is he here? And at this hour several times a week? As I lay there and ponder, I notice a light squeeze in through the gap under the door. It's a cold, flickering light. I try not to think about it. Perhaps it's coming from outside. The light doesn't stop, and I can't ignore it anymore. I get up, and I open the door slowly. The light is coming from the living room, and is illuminating most of the house. It's coming from the TV set. I know I turned it off, the test image being the last thing I saw. I start walking towards the living room, the cold light leading the way. I stand confused in front of the TV set. The image seems to have been stuck between 2 or 3 frames that keep repeating in a static mess. I look closer, and the frames seem to show a woman's face. Just as I reach to turn the TV off, the woman's black hollow eyes suddenly focus right at me. The fear stabs me in the gut, and I quickly turn the TV off. I hurry back towards my room, my heart about to pound through my chest. When I reach the hallway leading to my room, I stop dead in my tracks. The cold white light is showering over me again, casting my shadow on the wall. The TV just turned itself on again. I stand completely still, looking at my shadow, when the door to my room slams shut with a bang. I can hardly breathe from the fear that's rushing through me. I get the feeling that someone is closing in on me. The only way to run is downstairs, to the basement, towards the voice. The basement is illuminated by a single lamp in the corner, spreading an orange glow. The room is empty, but I hear the voice loud and clear now. It's coming from the guest room on the other side of the basement. They're all in there. I run over to the door, with the sinister presence hanging over me, yet I hesitate to open it. I don't know what to expect on the other side. Suddenly the orange lamp in the corner shuts off. The room is dark, and something is closing in on me. I take a deep breath, and I open the door. Hundreds of candles are spreading a warm glow in the room. A long table with chairs around it is placed in the middle, but the chairs are empty except for one. My mom is sitting in the chair at the far end of the table. Her eyes are closed and her arms are hanging along her sides. All is quiet. No voices can be heard anymore, and the people are gone. It's just my mother sitting there alone in the candlelight. Just as I'm about to call on her, I see the expressionless face open up in a little smile. Her eyes are still closed, but the smile is widening. I call her name, and slowly her eyes start to open. Deep black hollow eyes appearing and staring straight forward. I feel tears welling up. I can't take this anymore. Suddenly, her head turns towards me in an unreal fast motion. The smile has grown absurdly wide. She is staring directly at me as she utters the words, "Let go." The voice is coming from her, but it's not hers. Then I feel the presence push into me, and it all gets dark. The next morning, I'm sitting at the kitchen table, toast and orange juice in front of me. Mom is standing by the sink, looking out the window towards the backyard. We're not saying anything. She's not asking how I slept, and I don't care. I'm not feeling tired. I'm completely oblivious. Mom looks at her watch, and she turns around and looks at me. She looks older and withered. I almost don't recognize her anymore, but I know what that look means. I need to get going, or I'll be late for school. She walks me out to the porch, and we stand there for a while. Just as I'm about to go, she grabs my shoulder. While looking straight ahead, she tells me to head right home after school, because the rite must be complete or else. Just before I leave, I glance back at the porch and watch as the open door slowly shuts itself.